Hello, my name is Erica Townsend, and I am the Executive Administrator with the East York-Scarborough Reading Association. I'm also the conference organizer for Reading for the Love of It. I'm very happy that you're joining us today on our very first webinar entitled Reading for the Love of It Presents. And today we have an incredibly special guest, Barbara Reid. I do want to let you know that you are joining us in listen-only mode, which means we can't see you or hear you, but you will have no difficulty in watching this presentation. I'm joined today by my co-host, Jolyn Mascarenas. She is representing Scholastic Canada, and she will be introducing our very special guest. Jolyn?
Thank you, Erica, and thank you, Reading for the Love of It. It is my honor to introduce one of my favorite authors, Barbara Reid. Barbara has been playing with plasticine professionally for over 30 years, creating more than 30 award-winning picture books that include The Subway Mouse, Perfect Snow, and Have You Seen the Birds? Awards include the Governor General's Award and the Vicki Metcalf Award for Literature for Young People. Picture a Tree, inspired by observations in nature, was named an OLA Best Bet and a USBBY Outstanding International Book. The companion book, Picture the Sky, was a TD Children's Literature Award finalist and winner of the TD Children's Literature Fan Choice Award. Watch It Grow, Backyard Life Cycles is Barbara's latest book and the focus of this webinar. She will talk a bit about some books, give a reading of the section of Watch It Grow, and give a plasticine demonstration. When not playing with plasticine, Barbara enjoys connecting with young artists and writers and readers across Canada. Here's Barbara Reid.
Hi, my name is Barbara Reid, and I create picture books. Sometimes an author writes a story and I make pictures to help tell the story. Sometimes I'm the author and I write the words and make the pictures. But always when I make the pictures, I love to use plasticine modeling clay to create my artwork. Here in my studio, I have lots of plasticine modeling clay, and I just have so much fun with it. Ever since I was little, I liked reading books and stories. I liked to draw and make things out of plasticine. I also really loved animals and nature and being outdoors. And those were the kind of books I liked to read too, books about animals and things like that. So now when I create my books, quite often they're inspired by nature. One of my books, this one here, Picture a Tree, was inspired by walking a dog for many, many years. And when you walk in the same place every day, maybe walking to school or to visit a friend, you notice every day there's little changes when you see the same thing. It's not always the same. And I particularly noticed the way the trees were changing. Every season, little things would happen. And even in the middle of winter, there would be little changes to the trees that I noticed. And that made me excited to make words and pictures about trees. As I was creating the art for Picture a Tree and spending a lot of time looking at trees, I started to notice the sky, because it's right there when you're looking at trees. And I created this book, Picture the Sky, because I noticed how often the sky changed the mood, changed how I was feeling that day, whether it was raining or snowing or cloudy or a beautiful sunset. I liked trying to make pictures of the feelings that the sky was giving me. When I was creating Picture a Tree and Picture the Sky, I was thinking like an artist. I was looking at real trees and looking them up in books. But I also had to think a little bit like a scientist and do some research to make sure my pictures looked very real. I wanted the trees to look like actual trees and the clouds to be like real clouds. So I was acting like an artist and a scientist. And I think those two things have a lot in common. I think artists and scientists both notice things, they pay attention, and then I think those things make us curious. And if you're curious about something, you start learning about it. You ask questions, and when you ask questions, you learn things. And both scientists and artists tend to share the things that they've learned. So for my newest book, I was wearing both a science hat and an artist hat. And the book is called Watch It Grow. And it follows the life cycles of 4 different living creatures. They're all things that you might be able to find in your neighborhood. There's an oak tree, there's a sunflower, there's a frog, and a monarch butterfly. So as a scientist and an artist, I would like to share the things I learned by sharing Watch It Grow. I'd like to share one of the life cycle stories from the book Watch It Grow. And I'm choosing the life cycle of a tree. Trees are a good place to begin studying nature because they don't move around. So you can visit the same tree every day and watch the changes that are happening all through the year. The story I'm going to share with you is the story of the white oak tree. Watch the white oak grow. The tiny acorn grows all summer long. It turns brown as it ripens. In autumn, the acorn falls to the ground. It stays buried under the leaves and snow all winter. When spring comes, the acorn swells and a white root pushes into the ground. Soon, a shoot grows straight up. It gets food from inside the acorn shell. It gets water from a root in the ground. Next, a tiny oak tree grows leaves. Now it's called a seedling. Under the ground, the seedling's roots spread and grow. When the tree gets bigger, it's called a sapling. The sapling grows taller each year. Its trunk gets thick and woody and brown. The oak tree grows and grows. It gets bigger and bigger. When it's 50 years old, it starts to make acorns. The magnificent oak tree may live hundreds of years. And of course, the story of the life cycle of a tree is a story that starts and goes around and around again and again. And you can see that the story just keeps starting over and over, from the acorn growing into the seedling and the sapling and a magnificent oak. I like stories that keep going on, and I hope you enjoy Watch It Grow. One of the life cycles in Watch It Grow is the life cycle of the white oak tree. And the white oak tree begins its life cycle as an acorn. So I thought I would like to make a picture of an acorn. I've looked at some reference books to get to know what kind of acorn is on a white oak tree, but I was lucky enough too to actually find an acorn from a white oak tree. And I think that's great for artists. If we can really work from nature, that's the best thing. So you might take a picture of something that you want to make a picture of. You might look at the real thing, or you might look on the internet or in the library and find art. I've started with a background. It's a piece of cardboard, and I've used this nice bright blue color, and I've just used my thumbs and fingers to spread it out. That's going to be the sky. That's the background of my picture. Let's add a little bit of excitement here. I'm taking a little bit of white clay and just kind of spreading it around. Maybe there's some white clouds drifting by on this day. I'm thinking this is a sort of late summer day because the acorn is on the tree, and we'll even add a little bit of purple. Why not? Now I'm going to start by making the little branch that the acorn is growing on, and I've used this sort of a browny gray color because that's kind of the color of oak branches if you look at them. And I'm going to lay it on my page. The little branch is going to come down like that. Oh, let's let's say like that. The nice thing with the clay is when you roll out this sort of snake, you don't have to attach it right away. You can decide where it might go. And I think I'm going to make it even shorter. I'm going to make it about like that. When it looks the way I want, I can press it down. And this is going to have a leaf growing off it. And the leaf is going to be this nice bright green color. I'm going to start making the shape of my leaf. I've rolled out another long snake of green. And because the leaf is quite big, I'm going to outline it with this snake. So that's the shape of the oak leaf. And they have these things, the science name for it is a lobe, these parts of the oak leaf that stick out. So they're kind of a wiggly shape like that. They're all a little bit different from each other. But once I have my outline, I can fill it in, and then I can just take, I press it down and then add some more of the same color green to fill in my oak leaf. And press it like that. You get nice strong hands when you work with modeling clay. So there's the outline of my leaf. Now leaves have things called veins in them, and I took a little bit of this color green, a little bit of white, and I mixed them together to make this lighter green, and that's going to be the vein on the leaf. I have some ready rolled out here, and I'm going to start it right in the middle of the leaf, and it's going to follow the center of the leaf, and that's going to actually be what attaches to my branch. So it's like the little stem of the leaf. And these veins of the leaves also spread out. That's what gives the leaf its energy. And I'm going to add a texture to it to show some more of the really thin veins. I'm using a little clay tool that just scratches into the clay and makes these lines to be the veins. If you don't have a little fancy clay tool like this, you can also even use a paper clip, and I've bent one. I'm going to use the paper clip also to make a texture of this twig that's holding the leaf and will hold the acorns, because oak trees are kind of wrinkly. So there, I've added a texture. Let's take a little bit more of the twig color. The branches end in a little bud, as you can see. So I'm just going to add these buds. Those are waiting for next year. It's just a little teardrop shape. I'm going to add it on. And now I'm going to make a couple more stems, because now we're finally getting to the acorn. That was kind of the backstory. Oops. Sometimes it doesn't work out when you roll things. I'm going to roll out some very thin pieces, and those are going to be stems. I think we'll make an acorn that comes down about here, and we'll just attach it. And we might even make a second acorn. Maybe like that. Now we'll get started on the acorn, and it's going to be this nice rich brown color. And I'm going to make the shape of the acorn right in my hands. So I'm going to roll the clay, kind of a round ball, and then I can just start pressing it. You see how the acorn, it kind of comes down straight and then to a little point. So that looks about the right size. I'm going to tear off a little bit. You can keep changing things with plasticine. And there's the sides of the acorn, and I'm going to come down and make a little, that little point at the tip. Then now I'm going to lay that in place. So I think the acorn's going to go right about there. And then the acorn, of course, wears a little cap. That's actually what it's called. And it's a bit lighter color, and it has this kind of interesting texture. So I'm going to roll sort of a fat shape. Let's see if that hat fits the acorn. Each acorn has a perfectly fitting hat for its size. I think we can do that one. I think we'll just lay that right on top. And to make them join the stem a little bit. And for the texture of this hat, we're going to kind of do a short form. I'm going to take my stick again, and I'm going to just make some X's. And there's a little acorn on the branch. Well, he looks sort of lonely, so I think we'll quickly make a little acorn buddy. No two acorns are alike in nature and in plasticine. And we'll give him a tiny little stem. But you know what happens? In the fall, as these leaves start to change color and the acorns get nice and brown, they fall off. So I'm going to make this little acorn falling off the tree. And you know, we've been very scientific, but we can use our imaginations too. So let's have some fun. Let's make the acorns noticing. This guy's noticing maybe that his friend is disappearing. We'll use a pencil, and he's looking over and he's saying, "Oh my goodness." But his friend is probably saying, "That's okay." We'll give him some eyes. He's looking back. He's got a big smile. And this little acorn might be saying, "I'll see you in the spring." Well, I hope you enjoyed this little life cycle story, and I hope it encourages you to go outside in your neighborhood. Maybe you'll notice some things, maybe they'll make you curious, maybe you'll ask some questions, and maybe you will want to share what's growing in your neighborhood. So thanks for joining me today, and happy reading.
Thank you, Barbara, for this inspiring and engaging webinar. I am looking forward to playing with some plasticine and reading Watch It Grow to a little trio in my family. Learn more about Barbara's books and find video clay tutorials at barbarareid.ca. I am also happy to tell you that Scholastic Canada has donated a prize package with a few of Barbara Reid's fabulous books to a lucky registrant. Erica will tell you more about that. Erica?
Thanks, Jolyn. Yes, we are going to randomly pick a name from the list of individuals who registered for this webinar, and that lucky person will win the prize pack. I'll reach out personally to you, whoever that is, and with your permission, we will post the winner on our social media platform. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jolyn, for your participation and for Scholastic Canada. And thank you also to the East York-Scarborough Reading Association members who were so wonderfully motivated and supportive of generating this series of webinars that we plan on continuing with over the coming months. And to all the teachers out there who have joined us today and those who have not, your colleagues and friends, we wish you all the best during this very difficult time. We hope we brought a little joy into your lives today. And please note that we are recording this seminar and we will be posting it on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch it or share with your colleagues that it is online and available until March 31st. So that's it for today, and please remember to continue reading for the love of it. Bye for now.